Good morning. This is Walter Willis. I'm the Executive Director of the Solid Waste Agency of Lake County, and I want to welcome you to this video Zoom chat here, and also a happy International Compost Awareness Week. And I want to say a little bit about the people that are going to be on this meeting today. I've got Pete Adrian. He's our recycling coordinator and works very much in the composting arena. We've got Merlan Rampale, and she's our public information officer and education leader and does a lot of work with backyard composting and the big annual sale we typically have for rain barrels and compost bins. And Merlan will be also talking about the work she's doing in the schools. And then finally, we have Ivy Klee. She's an AmeriCorps volunteer, Greenest Region Corps. She's been with us for about 7 months and working really hard on some composting things. So she'll be sharing that information as well. But real quickly, the Solid Waste Agency of Lake County, we've got 43 municipal members plus the County of Lake. We've been around for about 30 years now. And really our goal is to find a more sustainable way to manage our waste and really look at it as a sustainable material, start working towards a circular economy. Now, the International Compost Awareness Week, the focus this year is that soil loves compost. And, why is that? Well, it increases soil health just with microbial activity. It reduces pesticide and chemical use. You can use compost instead. Reduces soil and plant diseases. And importantly here, reduces methane. If we put that organic material in a landfill, it will generate methane. Now, landfills can capture a lot of the methane, but not all. And finally, it can actually sequester carbon. So it's really got a 1-2 punch with the climate change issue. I want to talk real briefly about our municipal programs, and I'm going to kind of interview my staff here. We've got 21 towns that can put their food scraps in with their yard waste during the yard waste season. And in 3 of those, Lake Bluff and Highwood and Avon Township, you actually have year-round organics programs. So we've got a lot going on in that arena. SWALC was one of the founding members of the Illinois Food Scrap Coalition. We work very, very closely with Midwest Organics, who takes most of the organic material here in Lake County. So I'm going to quit talking now, and I want to turn it over and ask some questions of my staff. Pete, I want to start with you. Can you tell me about the work you've been doing to promote composting, food scrap composting in the commercial sector?
Yeah, thank you, Walter. Yeah, we've got quite a bit going on in commercial business sectors in Lake County. One of the early adopters was the Navy. They've been food scrapping in their galleys for years, so we're quite proud, and they use that as a great example of what we do in helping get that going. Another thing that's a little more recent was working with the Lake County Sheriff and the county jail. We now have an extensive food scrap diversion program going on in the jail in Waukegan, where a considerable amount of food waste that's coming out of the meals that are being prepared each day for the detainees to go, and that gets put through and sent out to Midwest Organics, as we spoke of. Another thing in our community is we've been working with our community engagement consultant, Stephanie Katsaros from Brightbeat. And Swalco's developed a community-based business food scrap diversion program that we've introduced in 3 of our member communities that currently have commercial franchises with their waste haulers. These 3 member communities are the Village of Grays Lake, the City of Highland Park, and the Village of Libertyville. In Grays Lake Compost program, we have 4 participant businesses, Light the Lamp Brewery, Old School Montessori School, both something brewing coffee shops in the village. Over in the City of Highland Park compost program, we have 3 participating restaurants: Bluegrass, La Casa de Isaac and Moshi, and Little Szechuan. And in the Village of Libertyville compost program, we have 2 participating restaurants, that being Green Room and O'Toole's. One thing I want to highlight is that all of these restaurants have been remaining open during the governor's stay home order. but they have been continuing to divert food scraps to composting during this time. These businesses and many more of these in our region are featured on the Illinois Food Scrap Coalition's website under the We Compost Recognition Program, and encourage everyone to seek out and patronize those businesses as much as possible. Thank them for their good efforts in reducing the volume of food waste being disposed of in our landfills. And also something to note, all these businesses are also active participants in recycling of cardboard, paper, plastic, glass, and metals in their restaurants and businesses that they generate day to day. So thanks to all our partners in this program, and we really do appreciate everybody's good work, and it's really helped to make this program a success. So I'll pass it back to you, Walter.
All right, thanks, Pete. That's great. Orlan, let's shift over to the school program, because obviously we see the synergy between getting our young kids engaged in food scrapping, and then they can bring that behavior home and start growing the programs more. But tell us what you've been doing in the schools.
Yeah, thanks, Walter. So we've been partnering with 7 Generations Ahead on a zero waste school program. So it's got a strong focus on food waste, but we're also looking at other things when we go into. So we're looking at improving recycling, you know, with the staff, with the in the cafeterias, with the students. But we do have a strong food waste diversion, food scrap focus with the program. And we just started this. This is our 2nd year. So we just started a couple years ago. We've already worked with a number of schools. Some are still in process. Others are on their way and have this actively working in their schools and their school cafeterias. We've worked with Braeside School in Highland Park, Red Oak in Highland Park, Roundout School, which is in the Lake Bluff, Libertyville area. And what's unique about Roundout is that the entire school is right there in one building, the whole district. So it incorporates, you know, all age groups there in the one school. And the program is directed, you know, some of the education is directed based on the age of the students. We've worked with Sprague and Lincolnshire, and then this year Northwood, Red Oak, Indian Trail, Oak Terrace, and Highwood. Indian Trail, Red Oak, Northwood in Highland Park. So we're trying to do a handful of schools each year. And there's actually a grant involved too. So if schools are interested in this, they can reach out to SWALCO, schools in Lake County. And we will come in, we'll provide all the resources, the training of staff, training of students. We're providing compostable bags. We'll do an educational presentation at a school assembly for everyone involved. We're even doing some special training. So some of the students will actually become kind of ambassadors for the program, and they'll step up and they'll be kind of educating the rest of the school and the students as they come up, monitoring, watching the stations. But that'll be something else based on the size of the school, the setup in the cafeteria, working with the cafeteria staff too. We're going to set up stations for recycling, you know, proper recycling of items, taking a close look at that. Some of the schools we've already been able to make some changes in some of their purchases, working with the cafeteria staff so that some of the products that they were utilizing were not recyclable, and switching to something that was a recyclable product if it's something that couldn't be food scrapped. So that was really exciting to see too. And in most cases, we're finding we can have an 80 to 85% reduction in landfill waste. So that's pretty huge. And one of the schools, one of the schools even had a 90% reduction. So it's pretty amazing to see. The other thing too that's really amazing to see, especially when we're doing some of the trainings with the students and the staff, you know, one principal had told us that her students were they really implement into their programming and the culture there what's going on in the world. And these students were just so gung-ho to be a part of this, as many of them are. And we sat down with them and asked them why the ambassadors wanted to be a part of this. And it was just so inspirational to hear from these young people who were going to be probably future leaders here, you know, to hear why they wanted to take this on and why it was so important to them. So for me, too, it was really so inspirational, I think, for a lot of us adults to hear what the kids had to say about the reasons they want to make a difference.
Yeah, that's tremendous, Merlan. And I think it was North Shore. I want to kind of give them credit. I think they were the entity that is helping fund some of the work.
Yes, North Shore Gas is also doing some of the funding. There was a great quote that we used in one of our publications that we put together. And it was from a parent actually too, because even in some of these cases, we've got parents and the parent teacher associations that are getting involved. She said, "I was shocked at how much food was getting thrown away and how much trash was being generated during the lunch period. Since the start of Zero Waste in Brayside, the students are learning how to make better choices and are learning that a small action can bring about big change. We have gone from 5 bags of landfill trash per day last week to 1 bag of compost, 1 bag of recycling, and 1 bag of landfill trash today." So it's pretty incredible what a little bit of creativity and action can do to make a really big impact.
Let's talk real quick, Merlan, about, I know we've been getting some contact about wanting to do backyard composting, and obviously we don't want people burning, and we've got a lot of resources, and we were going to have a big compost bin sale, but can you kind of give us a real quick summary of what people can do as far as getting information?
So each year, this coming weekend would have been the sale. We typically partner with the Lake County Forest Preserves to do a native plant, rain barrel, and compost bin sale out at Independence Grove in Libertyville. And then we typically have bins and barrels left for sale throughout the rest of the spring and summer for residents to schedule an appointment and come and pick up and pay for. And we do sell these at reduced costs. This year, both the sale itself by Swalco and the Forest Preserve was canceled, following, guidelines. However, we do have, there is a possibility, so I'm going to encourage everybody right now to sign up for our newsletter, check our website, our news and notes section on our homepage, our calendar. There's a possibility that we may be able to do something later this summer. We're going to have to kind of wait and see how things play out, but please check back with us. We do have some rain barrels in stock eventually when we're able to possibly do something with that again. And I'm going to see if we can get more compost bins available. Some of the towns even offer an additional rebate if you bring in our receipt from Swalco to the Village Hall. There are a handful of towns too that'll offer an additional rebate. But in the meantime, if you check out our website, and we're going to be updating some of this too, and check out our International Compost Awareness press release, there's some alternative methods that you can do in the meantime. And I know my dad has utilized some of these. I've utilized some of these, but there's trench composting. There's a sheet composting, which they also refer to as lasagna composting, which is kind of fun. So there are some techniques. I do think that the bins for an urban residential area are great because it contains all the material. I know all of us probably have a couple of compost bins in our backyard. But for the urban areas, I think those are nice. But there are, in the meantime, some alternative methods, and you can find those on our website. We'll be updating, I think, those sites too over the next few weeks and providing links and resources and how to. And I do want to encourage everybody too. We hear a lot at the sale. We do demos and education and how to there as well. That people sometimes think, there's a lot of myths, I think, about backyard composting, that it could draw critters, that it's really hard, that there's odors associated with it. And honestly, a lot of those they're myths. And if you put even a tiniest little bit of effort into it, it's something everybody can do, whether you garden or not. And again, can make a big difference in deterring. And I have a lot of friends who participate in the ride-along programs who still do backyard composting.
Yeah, you can do. Yeah. All right, thank you, Merlan. I'm gonna shift it over to Ivy now. Ivy Klee, tell us about some of the work that you've been doing and some of the fun research.
Yeah, so hi everyone. One of the compost projects that I was working on this year included compiling a food scrap database for Lake County. So the idea was that this database would eventually be turned into a GIS map for our members to use to easily find which restaurants, businesses, towns, and institutions are composting their food scraps in the Lake County region. So hopefully this map will be able to be used on our website and act as a helpful resource for SWALCO and SWALCO members. Another project that I have been working on is researching on compost and market development. So SWALCO is looking for ways to create a larger market for compost, and specifically we want to find opportunities within our community to connect local entities with compost facilities and find more use for the compost that is produced. So as part of this project, I'll be looking for examples of local government, park district, and forest preserve ordinances, and compiling all these ordinances into a database that can be more widely used. I will also be collaborating with the Illinois Food Scrap Coalition to create a database of where people can buy compost made and sold locally in Lake County and also throughout Illinois. So this effort will also help with creating a larger market for compost, specifically in our community. And finally, I helped with communication for our ride-along compost towns and updating some of our resources and flyers and making those available to our residents, and also kind of offering some tips and tricks that residents can take to make sure they're composting correctly. So you can find the flyer and these resources on the SWALCO website under the composting tab.
All right, Ivy. Well, thanks. We've been trying to keep you busy, right? So
Oh yeah,
that's a lot of good work, and the market database is actually groundbreaking. We really haven't been able to compile or find a good database of all the different specifications and ordinances that we might be able to use. So I want to wrap it up, and again, hope everybody has a great International Compost Awareness Week. We are working hard here at SWALCO to try to expand programs, expand awareness, working hard with our partners. Please go to our website at swalco.org or the Illinois Food Scrap Coalition. We're one of the founding members at illinoiscompost.org. A lot of good resources. Now is the good time to rethink all of our recycling and our composting. And remember that soil loves compost. So goodbye, everybody. Thank you.
Bye-bye.